Welcome everyone to the Compliance Trestle Issue Review. Today is October 14th. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be shared publicly on our YouTube channel to promote transparency and accountability. Your participation in these meetings is an agreement to abide by the OSCAL-Compass Code of Conduct, which can be found in the community repository. All right. So I created just kind of the same agenda that we had last meeting to wrap anything up, but these can be flexible. I thought it would be good, Alejandro, to maybe review the current release 341 or the pending release and just talk about the status there and open PRs and anything we need to do to move those forward. Is that okay?
Yes, sounds good. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and share 341. And we have two open. And I believe you said 1694 was a documentation update, right?
Yeah, that's a documentation update. I apologize because I'm a little bit behind schedule. I've been switching priorities. But I think for this one, I can be able to create a PR for documentation this week so we can move on. Same thing happens for 1706. I think it's pending a validation from myself, right? That it needs to be done for moving forward. I've seen that for that one particularly, it seems to be a small change, but what I wanted to give a deeper look into this is because the usually the aggregation of parameters, I mean, based on the previous aggregations for other types, is more extended than just that line of code that he submitted. That's why I wanted to take a deeper look in here, and that's why I haven't merged this yet or approved this yet. But I'll compromise myself to finish this week.
Sounds good. I did want to mention that Ryan, who submitted 1694, did say that was low priority in his opinion. So if that's something you would prefer to move to 350, we could do that as well.
Okay, give me this week because I think it's already solved. It's only a matter to sit myself and write down the documentation because I already went through it. It's already resolved, right? And well, we need to agree with Ryan as well if he says or if he buys our explanation. But yeah, it seems that there is something misunderstood there, and documentation was not pretty clear. So yeah, let me give it a try this week, and then if not, I can communicate with you about this one in particular.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and update the date then, the delivery date to, I think that's with the 18th. Does the 18th sound good?
Yes, sounds good.
Welcome, Lou.
Hello.
All right, I think we can move to, let me flip back to the agenda because I feel like we're good on 341. Okay, taking a look at new issues. All right, it looks like we have a few new issues here. One of the issues was around, I think we talked about the first and the second issue last meeting, and those were resolved, or we kind of knew what was happening with those. But before I move on, I just wanted to confirm with you, Lou, and Alejandro. Do we feel like we're in a good place with these and we can just move on to the rest of them?
Yes, that's for me.
Okay, let's move on to the merge bot. This is something we discussed last week. We talked about it a little bit in the community meeting. I just wanted to bring it up again in case there was any discussion around it. I did assign myself to this for the investigation because it kind of had something to do with one of the community proposals to add the reviewer contributor role. I am still kind of looking into the options we have for merging automation and trying to stick to open source options. And then we talked a little bit about the why around this. So I did document on the issue as well. So I just want to stop here. If there's any discussion around this, we can talk about it. If you guys would just want to move on to the next one, we can do that too. All right, moving on to the next one. And it looks like this one was recently added to the project, but is an older issue. So just taking a look here. So this
So
this
where
is-
are we building this Docker image for Trestle?
so if I look here, I think Chris was looking to discuss it the next issue release, probably the next one he can attend on Wednesdays. I would think that this would be added as part of the centralized release automation that he wants to do. It does seem like it could be valuable given that it seems like there's a few people in the community using Trestle in a container image, our downstream project included. I also believe that Ryan Ahern has his own version of Trestle running in a container. So I think maybe
It makes sense
yeah.
to have as
Yeah.
part of the release process. Yeah, I understand. But I believe currently we are not building it anywhere, right? The actual image is not getting manually built. This is an old issue. I believe this is like 2022, long back.
Yeah, definitely an old issue. I'm not aware of any container file or Docker file for Trestle.
Yeah, there is no container file that I'm aware of.
All right. Then I'll probably, since Chris wanted to bring it up at an issue review, I'll probably just mark this as an enhancement and leave it in the new status so we can discuss it next one if everyone's okay with that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And submitted by Chris last week. A new one. Anyone have thoughts or objections here? I think this would also have to be, it would be helpful if this was also centralized, given that the compliance Trestle FedRAMP plugin is also using setup tools.
Mhm. So this
I
is
don't know what I don't know what the
this
right
is like
answer
in
is here, but
Python versions or something else. Python configuration. I don't understand.
so this seems like a modernization issue, right? So
Yeah, I believe so. Just updating the tools, using, instead of using setup config, switching to PyProject TOML.
yeah, so it seems like a good idea. I haven't paid attention to how this works in a while. So if this is modernization, it seems like a good thing. So
All right. I think I can just mark this as an enhancement. Mark it as ready. I do think I can comment after this meeting and see if this should actually be moved into the centralized infrastructure repo. I wasn't clear on whether Chris wanted to use that for all of the modernization to the building and release pipeline. So all right, I think we can move on.
Yeah, this we need to update, right? Currently, so do we have a email address or for Trestle projects, or do we have one for, I don't know, maintainers list or something? Because we'll have to put one email also apart from the author, right, over there.
Right. We have a CNCF maintainers list, and then we also have a Google group for the OSCAL or Compass Oversight Committee. So I think we could use either one of those.
No, so this is only for Trestle, right? Not for other Trestle and yeah, not for other projects, right? C2P or others, right? So this has to be. Should we put like specific project specific group list, because for other projects it would not make sense, right? If they start receiving, I don't know, emails on that group or something. So do we want to put the whole OSCAL-Compass maintainers group or oversight group for this project, or specifically only the maintainers for Trestle?
I do see your point. I am wondering if it would just be good to pull the individual main. Are you suggesting like maybe, or can we pull multiple emails, or I think you said it was only a single email, right? That we can use?
I believe there'll be one email. I'm not sure. I need to check there.
Okay.
But yeah, do we have we have Google group for Trestle, or it is for the whole OSCAL-Compass?
It's for the entire, we have one for the entire community, and then we have one for the
Maintenance.
oversight committee, and then we have a separate CNCF managed one for the OSCAL-Compass maintainer. So there's no Trestle specific emailing list right now.
Maybe we can put your oversight committee group in that case. Yeah. What do you think? Do Alejandro, any thoughts?
Mm.
Because the owner would be OSCAL-Compass now, right? We will put author as OSCAL-Compass, correct?
This is for PyPy, right? So
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
the supposition would be there's not going to be a lot of traffic here, right? So it seems that OSCAL-Compass would be okay. I mean, if there was going to be a lot of traffic, that, you know, the oversight committee, if there's going to be a lot of traffic, I would say that maybe a different solution would be desirable.
Just a question. Will it change who is publishing to PyPy? If we use, let's say, this Google Groups email, then we'll need to make that email to perform the publishing, right? Because right now this because it's email. That's kind of the issue.
So actually, we put an author, and the link to the author is the email address basically. So it says author : IBM, and IBM is a hyperlink, which is a mail to my email as of now.
Got it.
So there is no separate. There is no two fields, right? There is author field, and
Just
the author is
one.
hyperlinked to the email.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
if
I've
we
noticed.
put OSCAL-Compass there, then we'll have to have the OSCAL-Compass email, which may be the oversight committee email, right?
The oversight committee. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. What I am saying is, or what I've noticed is that somewhere there is your email. When the
That
release
when
is,
we publish it, right?
yes, and there it is. Yeah, the author email. Thanks, Jen.
Yep,
We'll
So
need
this
to
is
change
different, I believe. This is different. So this is appears only on the left-hand side. The email configuration pushing will have to set up in the, I believe, our pipeline, right?
Mhm.
The GitHub pipeline that we have there, we'll have to, because I believe it is linked through some ID, right? Some GitHub ID or email ID, right? These two are linked together.
Are
It
we
has to be
talking?
some.
Sorry, go ahead.
So there are two things here. One is the author and author email that needs to be updated here, right?
Yeah,
So which
yeah.
is definitely, it should become OSCAL-Compass, and maybe some OSCAL-Compass email ID. It can be the oversight committee one.
Mm-hmm.
But what, Alejandro, you're talking about is when we are pushing from our GitHub repo to PyPy, right?
Yeah,
There is some
right.
linkage between some ID linkage between that two, which is still currently my either GitHub ID or email ID through which they get linked together.
Right.
For that, I believe there has to be either an email ID or GitHub ID, right? So it has to be one of the owners of that compliance Trestle project, right?
Oh, okay.
Any owner can be there, but it has to be probably unless there is, I don't know, we can use group ID over there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was actually asking this because I think if we can use a functional ID for doing that, that'll be much better, right? Rather than using yours. Now that we are changing this, I thought they were related.
Yeah.
But no, I see the difference now. Yeah, they're two separate things. So okay, yeah, I was just saying, just in case, if we can use some sort of a functional ID or functional email rather than yours, that will be even much better, I think, right?
I actually thought that had recently changed though, because
Really?
yeah, because now when we push to PyPy, we're using OIDC, and we can configure trusted publishers, and you just choose the repository. I actually just did this for the FedRAMP plugin. So I was wondering if that was still true or still an issue.
Okay, yeah.
So when you add trusted publisher, do you need to specify any ID or just the GitHub repository?
Just the GitHub repository, the repo and the organization. That's all I had to, and the specific pipeline, but that's all I had to specify.
So there
Yeah,
is no ID or something needed over there.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember seeing that in the latest release. This was true, but maybe there were some changes that I'm not aware of at this point. So I'll need to look.
Can we look at the last release and
Yeah.
see how
Let-
did it happen? Was my ID there or it not there? No, because I remember earlier when Trestle release used to happen, it was going through my ID. But
Yeah.
I believe after the change has been made to both compliance Trestle and Trestle FedRAMP, right? Using trusted publisher, I don't remember whether is it still taking my ID somewhere or not now.
Yeah, let me check if I see it. I don't see it on the pipeline page.
Not in the pipeline, but even in our pipeline, right? When we push through our GitHub, there it used to come my ID.
Yeah, let me check.
Or in the release notes, if you see somewhere, it used to come. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Me too. Let me check. Yeah, it seems to be pushed by you. That the latest version, the 3.4.0, seems to be pushed by you yet.
So it still uses some ID to push, right, to
Yeah,
PyPy,
it seems.
even though we have set up trusted publisher.
Yeah, it seems. You remember that we had a problem some time ago for doing a release because there was some problem with your account or something like that you needed to verify something in your email.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember some time back. Yeah,
Yeah. It seems it is related to
that
your.
was long time back. After that, I believe the
Yeah.
trusted publisher thing was added.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem then to be changed because that was, I think, for the 3.
Maybe the
Zero,
major release of
one.
3.01 or
Yeah,
something like that.
right. It was some time ago, but it doesn't seem that changed because it for 3.4.0 I am seeing right now because Agarwal pushed. So yeah, it doesn't.
Does it need some ID of the person who is pushing to PyPy? Can we look at the pipeline and just search for email? Is there some email ID there which is required still, even though we have trusted publisher? Can you check the pipeline, push pipeline?
Sure.
Search for some email here.
For email. So I see yours is configured below
Yes.
with just for GitHub. And Alejandra, are you seeing the Vicas's email on the push back to GitHub for 3.4.0? Or are you seeing that in PyPy? Or both?
I think at both. Let me check. Let me check because I am looking at specific step. I might be wrong.
So where is my ID still getting used, Jen? At the bottom you were saying?
It's still getting used to push to GitHub. So, and it's actually being used on the step defined on 127 during semantic release just to push the changes back to GitHub. I just don't see it being used anymore on 133, which is actually the push to PyPy.
So, okay, so this is basically merging the back version. Once we make a release, we merge that changes to back to develop. So is this the step you're saying?
Yes. So any pushes to GitHub, I think, is still using your ID.
And it has to use some ID, right? Or no?
I do, but I think it does. One option we could do is create a GitHub app for the organization that has access, where we don't have to use anyone's ID, and then we could have it just generate tokens during the release pipeline.
And GitHub app would have the admin access, right?
I believe so. Yes, you can control what access it has to a repository, which repositories it has access to. And so I believe you can assign granular permissions to a GitHub app. And then there is currently there's a GitHub published action that will allow you to generate tokens that I believe can be revoked after the pipeline or last 8 hours, if I'm remembering correctly.
So this is a new issue that you propose for changing the pipeline in compliance Trestle?
Yes, I do think it has something to do with the original issue we were talking about, but it is separate. So I could just submit a new issue in compliance Trestle to capture what I'm talking about.
Or I guess you could just add on to the existing issue saying this is how we're going to fix it.
Well, there are two different things. Even though the email address, if we want to use one email address, it may be same. Or if we are using GitHub app, then it may be separate things to do, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think they would be separate. I agree.
Yeah, but if we can either use functional email address or maintainer's email address or a GitHub app, that would be better, right, in the long run.
So just a quick question, Jen. We are using now the Git action called GitHub action PyPy publish for PyPy publishing, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. I am not seeing anywhere in the logs that there is a request for any credentials or the BKSS email. So I think it's now not being asked. So I think we're good there. Yeah.
In the PyPy, we are good, right? You're saying.
Yeah. It seems.
But within GitHub itself, right? When we merge main back to develop, then it uses my ID, right?
Yeah, it seems. Yeah.
That
There.
we'll have to fix. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it seems like solution one for the issue Chris was proposing might just be simply updating the setup config. And then the other solution is a GitHub app. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the solution one, we can just put OSCAL oversight committee address and put OSCAL-Compass, right, as the owner there. Correct. Yeah, because the owner is OSCAL-Compass, right? At the PyPy level, the ownership is with OSCAL-Compass a community. Correct. We can update that, yeah, in PyPy.
Yeah, I think that works as long as there's no objections. Yeah.
And oversight committee address is fine, right? Because if the owner is OSCAL-Compass, then oversight committee would be the closest to contact, right? In case somebody needs to contact for any reason.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That should be fine. Yeah.
All right, I think that's it for the new issues. And I'll quickly add some action items for what we just discussed.
I may have to drop now. I have another call.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem.
Thank you.
All right, let's switch back, see what's left on the agenda. I think we could give a quick look at 350, and then we might just be able to end early. I know we had the couple issues in the current cycle. I saw that Lou had already answered to my original proposal, so we can just explore there a bit more around the structure of the SDK. So let me switch over to 350. So we have 3 open issues here. One is pending review from Ryan. Oh, actually, these are the same issue. One of these is a pull request. So we actually have 2 issues. We have the one where it fixes the updates to rules in Markdown, and then the other one is Jinja. I was thinking we could just take some time to figure out if there's anything else we could add. So I just wanted to propose that and see if that works for you guys. Let me move over to
Is 350 a November-ish kind of thing?
yes. Let me actually go double check the date on there. That's a good question. So it looks like it's the 30th, but it's supposed to be a month after the release of 341. Or it was supposed to be a month after the release of 340. So I think we're a little bit off on the timing. So it might be something we could move into maybe like the first week of November instead of October 30th.
Okay. I just say this because I think that it's not well formed yet, but inside IBM anyway, we've been talking about some changes that may be required for how we're representing rules.
Okay.
And I don't have any issues. I don't have any formal, this is beginnings, but maybe that could go into 3.5 if it can be explained and discussed by then, but no actual issue to talk about yet. So
Okay.
a warning shot across the bow.
Yep, sounds good. And let me go before I forget to actually just push this back a week. Give us a little breathing room. And then we already have 2 enhancements in there, which is good. I think we could look around, see if there's any enhancements that look like they're higher priority. I realize a lot of our enhancements lately have to do with the project infrastructure. So I'm trying to look at some user submitted enhancements. And if something sticks out to anyone as we're looking over this list, just let me know.
There was a PR submitted by somebody from AWS, which I commented on, and there's been no return from him. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but it is what it is.
Gotcha. And it might, he has communicated over Slack, so I wonder if it might even be worth continuing it over Slack. I have a thread where he and I were discussing this that I could just tag you on, Lou, if you wanted to talk over
Oh,
there.
okay. I didn't realize. I guess we're both in different operating zones, so I haven't been paying close attention to the Slack set.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'll just make sure to add you onto that thread once we.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah. So we do have the responsible role information but that's part of the bigger epic, which I should probably actually mark these as exempt from stale. So I didn't want to move forward on, I know I submitted them, but I didn't want to move forward on any of the implementation until we decided at a larger group level how these should be handled. But yeah, we do already have 2 features, so maybe we just leave the features as is because it would warrant a feature release. And then if anything comes up or it seems like there's anything that's high priority, perhaps we just add it as it arises. But yeah, just looking for your guys' feedback there. It's been pretty difficult, I think, to tell which enhancements are the most supported by the community. So we might want to start encouraging folks to use like a thumbs up or some sort of emoji on the issues that they want the most, so we can more easily figure out what's desired or like what we should work on next.
Yeah, I think, if people want something, they'd be knocking on the door. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. And that, I think that's what those 2 issues are that we have. So
Right. Somebody wants them, so they're in.
right. So yeah, so maybe we just continue with that and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We do have 20 minutes left, so I just wanted to see, do you guys want to talk about the epics, or since the group is kind of smaller today, would you rather just wrap up early?
Yeah, I don't know. I sadly I've been kind of ignoring OSCAL-Compass for the last week. I've been distracted by other issues. So if there's anything you want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about it. But I got 20 minutes. If not, we can end early.
Okay. Here, maybe we can just take a peek at them, see if there's anything that's worth talking about. Let me go over to the roadmap. This one is markdown, like very heavy markdown. It has so far support from the community. What we're waiting on here is really just some more feedback, specifically from our group. I think that we need more maintainer feedback. We've gotten great feedback from the community, from Ryan specifically so far on the requirements that he has around this. So I think Vikas was going to add something here. Alejandro, I don't know if you wanted to add something here specifically around what was proposed.
Okay. Yeah, I could take a look at it and reiterate about this. I've seen that issue, but I haven't gone into the details. So I could take a look, another look and see.
Yep.
Okay.
And just like, because I know we were just talking about 341, so I just didn't want to make it sound like everything's high priority. This is in the cycle that ends in December. And just the goal for the end of the cycle is have this design agreed upon, it broken down into issues, but not to have it fully completed. Just
Okay.
so you know, like what the rough timeline is.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have the project structure, which last week I just tried to categorize a little bit. It looks like Lou was able to take a look. And yes, I agree. Lou, that however we decide to structure this, the test should just be structured accordingly. But yeah, if anyone has opinions on just this high level breakdown, same situation, it's in cycle 2, looking to get it broken down by December. So just wanted to put this out there that it's ready for review.
Yeah, I think it's good to get started on this, and I think it, obviously it's going to be breaking change big time, right? When we move stuff all around, so try and get it as close to right as we can the first time.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right. I think we're ready to wrap up then. Yeah, just round the room. Anyone have any last comments or topics to talk about?
No, again, I'll repeat that I'll try and in the near future open up some issues about thoughts on how to improve our rules support, which is lacking and broken in certain circumstances. So expect that in the next week or two.
Great. I'm excited to take a look. All right. Well, then, thank you everyone for joining, and have a great rest of your day or evening.
Thanks,
You
everyone.
too.
Bye.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Bye.
Bye.